The other reason why I came here was because of the passage of Senate Bill 226 in the House of Representatives. This bill, which would require PBMs to register in New Hampshire, would establish a commission to study transparency in the PBM process. In other words, Senate Bill 226 holds PBMs accountable. The prime sponsor of this bill was Senate President Donna Soucy. I believe that President Soucy recognized that there must be a way to control healthcare costs for New Hampshire families, businesses, and taxpayers. Because that's her style. Donna sees a problem, Donna looks for a solution. As Senate President, Donna Soucy has done a masterful job working across the aisle, crafting an inspiring agenda that offers hope and opportunity for workers and their families. True leaders lead by example. Donna Soucy leads by example. We are so fortunate to have her leadership at the New Hampshire Senate. Brothers and sisters, please welcome Senate President Donna Soucy.
Thank you, President Brackett. Thanks to all the brothers and sisters gathered here this morning, and happy Labor Day. It's an honor to be here, and we should also give a shout out to our great friends at St. George's for once again hosting this breakfast. Give them a round of applause. This Labor Day, as often is the case, marks the changing of the seasons. And this year, it's a chance for us to celebrate the change in the legislative season and the change in the legislative majority since our last breakfast. Yeah. And I want to make sure to give a shout out to all the people that made that change possible and that are helping to ensure that we are delivering for the people of the state of New Hampshire. My colleagues that are here, I'm going to call you out. Please either stand up or give a wave if you're standing in the back of the room. Senator David Waters, Senator Jay Kahn, Senator Melanie Levesque, Senator Shannon Chandley, Senator Cindy Rosenwald, Senator Dan Feltus, Senator Kevin Kavanaugh, Senator Lou D'Alessandro, and Senator John Morgan. These are the majorities of the legislature that have led the way on labor issues here in New Hampshire, working side by side with hardworking people like all of you and advocates. We are truly working to make a difference for everyone in the Granite State. And let me tell you a little bit about what we've been able to accomplish this legislative year. You know, I want to give a shout out to my colleagues who were here earlier, and Senator Hassan is still here in the federal delegation. They are doing extraordinary work in Washington against tough odds. And we're doing some pretty extraordinary things in Concord too, against one tough odd. But we can fix that in the coming year. This year, we've been able to pass legislation to establish a commission that will finally investigate incidents of workplace violence against state employees. We've added post-traumatic stress disorder and acute stress disorder to the definition of injury for workers' compensation. We've created, yeah, that's definitely worth some applause, no doubt about it. We're also going to exempt all seasonal workers from a work search requirement if they are in fact going back to their original job. And we established legislation that will prohibit employers from requiring low-wage employees to enter into non-compete agreements. And we finally, after more than a decade, passed a COLA for state employees that participate in our pension system. Let's hear it, Diane Pruitt, our fund sponsor. Yes. And while this progress is very significant and we are very proud of it, there there were some other additional efforts that we made to protect and strengthen New Hampshire's workforce that unfortunately were vetoed by the governor. You know, in a year of record vetoes, I mean more than many of our past governors combined, Governor Sunun's Senate Bill 271, a state-level version of the federal Davis-Bacon law that would have increased wages and benefits for New Hampshire workers and ensure that tax dollars are spent in a way that benefits all of our state and would have applied to all state-funded projects. And unfortunately, the governor vetoed that. He also vetoed Senate Bill 18, which would have allowed public employees to request voluntary deductions from their wages to pay for things like insurance. Not good enough for him. When he vetoed Senate Bill 20, Senator Kavanaugh's youth protection bill, the governor decided that limiting the hours and ensuring that youth who enter the workforce don't have adequate protection just wasn't good enough. And when he vetoed my bill, Senate Bill 10, reestablishing New Hampshire's minimum wage, a bill that I have introduced every single year that I've served in the Senate, the governor blocked what had been bipartisan work to finally reestablish and increase New Hampshire's minimum wage. Well, Senate Democrats are not going to stand for it. Our House colleagues aren't going to stand for it. We have an override session coming up, and we have more bills to come, and we are just not going to let the governor stand in our way in creating an environment here in New Hampshire that builds a stronger workforce, that supports New Hampshire families, and that benefits all of us. We are going to continue our efforts to increase the wage. We are going to continue our efforts to provide training and education that's affordable. We are going to increase our efforts to ensure that every New Hampshire resident has access to health care. And today is a day where we celebrate. We celebrate the accomplishments of labor, but we never forget those who came before us and the work that we still have to do. I thank all of you and look forward to continuing the good fight with each and every one of you in this room. Thank you and happy Labor Day.